And welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us live on all social media from downtown Charlottesville, and it's a pleasure to connect with you guys on a chilly Monday afternoon. A lot we're going to cover on today's program. Here are today's headlines. Sit back and learn what's going on in your community. We'll talk Albemarle County teachers. They are reaching out to me by the dozens. I had another 6 teachers at Albemarle High School reach out to me in direct message capacity, literally with the same topic in their direct messages. They are fearful of their health, their safety, and by health I mean mental and physical health, while in the hallways of Albemarle County's largest public school. I can't be more straightforward than that. Our friends, our neighbors, and the folks that are teaching the students that will be the next generation of leaders are straight up telling me that they are scared to go to work. I will read more direct messages to you on today's talk show. Also, a handful of months ago, September of this year, I proposed a solution to the Albemarle County Public School System and Superintendent Dr. Matthew Haas. I said, Superintendent Haas, you need to start considering a third-party solution to alleviate the school bus driver shortage and the tardiness of these buses in transporting students to schools. Consider businesses like CVille Hop-On Tours. Consider businesses that have private buses that are not utilized during the week, private buses that are used for weekend travel like weddings and events and vineyard and winery tours, to bus kids to and from school on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And that's exactly what they are considering right now. I'll explain how and why today on the I Love CVille Show. Unfortunately, Judah Wickhauer, and let me know when you have that 2-shot ready to go. There was another shooting in Charlottesville, Virginia, in the city. This outside Christians in Boylan Heights. And this shooting took place Saturday night into Sunday morning. We'll give you the nitty-gritty of this shooting. And we'll again ask the question. The new police chief in Charlottesville, Virginia, his name, Police Chief Michael...
Kachis?
Kachis. Very good. Excellent memory, Judah. That's going to be one of his key priorities, is figuring out what the heck is going on with these shootings in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yeah.
This one happened essentially on the grounds of the University of Virginia.
Wow.
Christian's Pizza, Boylan Heights, outside there. I'll give them the specifics, the viewers and listeners, in a matter of moments. Also on today's talk show, we're going to talk University of Virginia men's basketball. They lost to Houston. UVA did not rebound the ball well, especially on the offensive side. They allowed a tremendous amount of second chance points for Houston on the glass. And they didn't shoot the ball particularly well on Saturday afternoon. Still, they lost by 8 points to one of the best teams in the country. I think this Virginia men's basketball team still has a very good chance at a Final Four. And Virginia basketball picked up a transfer from Georgetown University in Patrick Ewing's program. This news is flying under the radar. The transfer they picked up from Georgetown is a stud, and the type of guy that can replace Kihei Clark and Tony Bennett's system. He is going to have to redshirt, but he'll be ready to rock and roll after Kihei leaves. We'll talk Maurice Jones, and I'm going to ask a hypothetical question. Could Maurice Jones be the city manager for a second tour in Charlottesville? Mo Jones, a week ago, resigned in Chapel Hill. After 4+ years in the job as the city manager in Chapel Hill. Maurice Jones was previously the city manager in Charlottesville, Virginia. He was previously the director of communications in Charlottesville, Virginia. He served as the official city manager of Charlottesville City from December 6, 2010 until July 31st, 2018. Could this man be the new city manager for this community, a man who undoubtedly has institutional knowledge of Charlottesville? We'll talk about that topic, and we'll talk home builder sentiment falling to a 2012 low on today's talk show. Judah, let's go to a two-shot, and let's welcome you to the program. First, my friend, it's nice to see you. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Did you have a good weekend?
I did.
Exciting events that Judah Wickower enjoyed over the weekend. Can you give us a little bit of insight on how one of Charlottesville's most talked about celebrities spends his Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday?
Well, there wasn't a whole lot that went on over the weekend, but my sisters are in town.
Ooh, from California.
Yep. And I cooked up a nice big pot of non-dairy seafood chowder. It's delicious.
Tell us about that.
I was surprised. Apparently, you can switch out cream or heavy cream with cashews. Who would have thought? You just blend them up with water and they make like a cream substitute.
Oh, Judah
And
Wickower.
So, no butter, no cream, no dairy. Just the way my sister likes it.
Juan Sarmiento, the lead mechanic with Cat, says Judah Wickower is AKA Mr. CVille. I will relay this live on air to Judah
Mr.
Wickower.
CVille.
You're becoming a celebrity.
I guess.
All right.
Next thing you know, people will actually say hi to me when I walk by them on the sidewalk.
You don't get the hellos?
I was joking, but
All right, let's get to the nitty-gritty. First item on the agenda, I continue to have Albemarle County teachers reaching out to me, Judah.
Mm-hmm.
This teacher reaches out to me and says this. This was on Friday at 5:37 p.m. after the teacher listened and watched our Fine and Fair talk show. Jerry, you asked on the talk show today, does a teacher or student need to seriously get hurt before something is done, before changes are made from the superintendent's office? Jerry, last spring, 2 teachers were injured in a fight at Albemarle High School. One teacher missed several days from school with a concussion. I am DMing you. I have colleagues that I don't want to compromise. Please understand that teachers are already getting hurt.
and nothing's being done is the implication.
Exactly. I had another teacher send me this. Jerry, thank you for not only sympathizing with members of the Albemarle high school teacher community, but validating our concerns and giving us a voice we otherwise would not have. Yet a third teacher said this. Jerry, every day I go to school at Albemarle High School, I wonder and I talk with my wife if today is the day I will be physically assaulted by one of my students. I've sent numerous students out of school, out of our classroom and out of the schoolroom because of difficulty and not listening to me and because of a threat of violence. They return to the classroom and nothing changes.
Yeah. It's a shame.
They are contacting me, the teachers in droves. And Albemarle County teachers, I promise you, we will champion you. We will be the voice of your plight. We will go to bat for you. We will put pressure on Dr. Matthew Haas. We will put pressure on the Albemarle County School Board. It's beyond the point of change. It's beyond the point of reckoning. It is time something is done. And whether that something is us pressuring a school board to find a new superintendent, or whether it's us asking the community to vote the right people into office for the Albemarle County School Board, we will continue to utilize this platform for the good. You have 4 spots open for the Albemarle County School Board. And these 4 spots undoubtedly can reshape who is the superintendent of schools. And I often don't utilize this platform to call for people to lose their job. But if teachers are going into classrooms and, Judah, they're working for meager pay, they're working long hours, they're underappreciated, they're underpaid, and now they're fearing for their safety.
What's disturbing to me is that the other implication of this DM is that they don't have anyone to bring these concerns to. Is there no school union? I mean, teachers union? Is there no...
No teachers union in Albemarle County.
No one that
No
they
teachers
can
union in Albemarle County.
bring concerns to? That's terrible.
Becca Saxon and Mary McIntyre are leaders within the Albemarle County public school system and its teachers trying to bring a union to Albemarle County Public Schools. There is a teacher union with Charlottesville Public Schools. I've said many times on this program that I'm very pro empowering the teachers with more perks through the power of collective bargaining. The fact that jurisdictions adjacent to Albemarle have collective bargaining that is yielding results, and the fact that Albemarle does not, is an indictment on Albemarle, and certainly one of the many reasons Albemarle is losing teachers.
No doubt. Especially if they feel their voices aren't being heard.
Exactly right. And especially if it's gone to the point where they fear for their safety.
Yeah. Why stay in a situation like that?
Exactly. It's one thing to be underpaid and underappreciated.
It's another to put your life on the line. Just
Exactly.
going into work. They're not cops. They're not firemen. They know the risks when they take the job.
There it is.
Being a teacher should not involve police training.
There it is.
In order to be ready for the job.
There it is. Being a teacher should not involve police training. There it is. And in 2023, we're about in 2023.
Just about.
Some of the teachers are literally direct messaging me and saying, we feel we need that training.
Yeah.
Just to make it through our day. And they also have a common denominator of school resource officers and getting them back into the schools.
High school students can be some big...
They're physically men.
Yeah.
Some of them are physically men.
I mean, I wasn't when I was
Neither
in
was
high
I.
school,
But some are.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Get the school resource officers in the schools. Utilize the power of collective bargaining. The school board knocking collective bargaining, I think, is utter BS.
I would want to make sure that the collective bargaining had the ability to do some. I don't know what a teachers union would be able to do about students fighting in school, but they could at least, I think.
Teachers union could utilize the power of collective bargaining to get school resource officers back. Teachers union could utilize the power of collective bargaining to get a much more effective process or methodology of punishment and accountability.
Yeah.
And I'm going to straight up say this. It's time to expel the bad apples.
Yeah. I mean, within reason, I'm definitely for making punishment stick.
Paul McCarter says, I want to treat teachers and have a school system where teachers don't need a union to be taken care of. Paul, I respect that comment. Paul McCarter is vehemently opposed to a teachers union. Paul is vehemently opposed to this. He and I disagree on this point. The reality is Charlottesville has a teachers union. And there's an invisible line that no one knows where it exists between Charlottesville's jurisdiction and Albemarle County's jurisdiction. And if Charlottesville's offering teachers perks and compensation and collective bargaining and advantages that Albemarle County is not, eventually the market will speak and teachers will leave Albemarle and they'll head to Charlottesville to teach. Or teachers will leave Albemarle and they will head to private schools to teach. Or teachers will get out of the profession altogether. Because when you go into your classroom and you are already demoralized because you are underpaid, you're underappreciated, and you're overworked, and then you got to worry about getting your ass kicked,
Yeah.
that's taking it too far.
Yeah. I'm curious about Paul's problems with teachers' unions.
Why don't you like the teacher union, Paul, for Albemarle County?
So I'd like to hear both sides. And
You want to hear that?
yeah, I'd like to know more about what the issue. I know a lot of people have problems with the issues. I know
There's a lot of teachers that watch this show, Paul.
Democrats and
I want to give you a heads
Republicans
up.
often fight about whether unions are a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, I mean, there's the stigmas associated with unions.
Yeah, and sometimes
And those stigmas are...
I know sometimes they don't work. Sometimes sometimes they're more about making money for the union than they are about assisting the people in the union. I don't know that that's true of all of them, but I would definitely be interested in finding out more about the problems that.
put them in the feed, Paul. We'll relay them live on air.
With unions in Central Virginia, at least for teachers.
He says he's opposed to mandatory unions in any industry, and he supports voluntary organizations, including unions.
That's fair.
Kevin Higgins says at Albemarle High School there are rapes, sex and drug sales in bathrooms, teachers getting concussed, and all-out brawls in the hallways. I'd lock the doors and use that building for facilities. It's a disgrace that this is happening at our front door. Kids are afraid to go to school. Think about that. A kid afraid for an entire school day. Sorry, there is no learning occurring there. These kids are in survival mode and just going through motions each and every day. The teachers there are heroes to even show up. The teachers are heroes to show up to work.
Yeah, it's hard to believe this is. I think I said this last week. It's hard to believe this is Charlottesville in Central Virginia rather than
Inner city Baltimore.
Yeah. Or Detroit or Chicago. I mean, it almost. I don't think this wasn't the case. My parents didn't move us across country. Just as I was about to enter junior high, but one thing that. I'll never forget was my mom called the junior high that I would have been attending in Los Angeles had we stayed, and she was told that the only dress code were no gang colors. Not very surprising in Los Angeles, but scary when you think about that infecting other cities.
He says, I don't want a union dictating how our school system is run. The union would work in conjunction with the school board. Just because there's a teacher union does not mean it dictates how the school system is run. Charlottesville city schools have a union. They are not dictating how the schools are run. The school board would work in conjunction with the union to dictate how the schools are run. If things are not done to incentivize, to empower, and to champion our teachers within ACPS, the attrition will continue, and Albemarle County schools will lose the pedigree and prestige that have made Albemarle County a staple of success in the Commonwealth. You cannot have success in classrooms if you don't have teachers with institutional memory or experience. And teachers are quitting. They are quitting because they are afraid. And the work conditions are not where they should be. And frankly, they feel dispirited because of leadership.
Yeah.
They feel leadership does not have their back. And I legitimately am getting direct messages from, call it 36 of them within Albemarle's largest school. Mm-hmm. And it's the same tone and tenor, these messages. I want to emphasize the fact that Charlottesville City has a union with its teachers. And that union is not determining what's happening with Charlottesville Public Schools. They are working in conjunction with the school board to determine what happens, and the superintendent's office. Now, let's go to the next topic. I said in September of this year, when school buses were showing up to pick up kids a couple of hours late, that one of the solutions for solving the school bus driver issue was to hire private transportation companies to subtract out the work. I said in September of this year, get the free market, third parties, and private business to solve the conundrums and the BS and the red tape and the bureaucracy and the mumbo jumbo that comes with government.
Yeah.
I emphasize that as the solution for transportation. And ladies and gentlemen, Albemarle County on Friday of last week said one of the solutions it is considering is outsourcing transportation to third parties. Albemarle County Public Schools, Charmaine White is the Director of Transportation. Charmaine White, in a press release, said that ACPS has submitted a request for proposal to outsource a portion of its transportation. She says this request for proposal would work with private third parties to provide bus transportation for students. The request for proposal bids are due on January 6th. She says they are looking for up to 20 drivers to help for transportation issues in Albemarle County Public Schools. I often come up with solutions in conjunction with Judah Wickhauer and the guests that come on this show. And those solutions are based on a small business owner's mindset who understands the power of the entrepreneurial spirit and the free market. This mindset is what is needed with elected officials within Albemarle County, the mindset I have.
So, but they're still looking for bus drivers, basically.
They still can't hire them.
I know, but I don't see how hiring a private company, if they're not willing to pay a bus driver working for the school X amount, how are you going to bring in an outside company that costs less than that?
The outside company is not utilizing its buses during the week. They're just sitting in a parking lot.
They still have to pay people to drive.
Albemarle County uses its $22 an hour to pay its employees. That $22 an hour is allocated to the private company. The private company then can contribute some of its money, maybe call it $8, $10, and then gets up to $30 an hour. And the private company is offering an opportunity for its employees to make money during the week.
Okay.
When that employee makes money during the week, he or she is less likely to leave the private employer and go looking for other work. That private employer can kick $8 an hour, combine it with the 22 from Albemarle County Public Schools, then you get $30 an hour. Albemarle County Public Schools will cover the mileage and the gasoline costs because they're already having to do that with the buses anyway. That private company then gets its buses on the road. You have the opportunity for marketing potential, the brand getting out there even more, as opposed to them sitting in a parking lot or a storage shed collecting dust. Furthermore, Albemarle County Public Schools could even pay the third parties more money. And how they can pay the third party more money is because they don't have to bring on a bus driver and offer them benefits. It would be a W-9, 1099 scenario, subcontracting the work out. And when you subcontract the work out and don't have to offer perks like health care or other benefits associated with retirement, then you can pay more because it's a short-term solution. This is the free market. This is the solutions I've been coming up on this talk show for months now. And finally, Albemarle County Public Schools has realized what we've been talking about has been correct.
There it is.
There it is. I have said for months to reach out to the Cameron Limousines of the world, Bill Kerr, to the Albemarle Limousines of the world, to the CVille Hop-On Tours. And if Andre doesn't want to work at CVille Hop-On Tours, I suggest that Andre would be a great solution. Bill Kerr at Cameron Limousine certainly would do it. He's a client. He's got drivers looking for work during the middle of the week and buses sitting in a parking lot collecting dust. He would much rather have those buses on the road transporting kids where people can see the Cameron Limousine moniker all over Albemarle County. And getting his drivers on the road making money so they stay loyal to him. Even if he's making barely any money doing this, he would do it. Because he gets the brand recognition of the buses on the road and his bus drivers and his drivers staying loyal to his company because they get more money coming in. I'm happy to broker that deal. I've been saying this since September. I've been saying this. And now in January, it's becoming a reality. Bill McChesney says, guess who drives some of the buses on the weekends? School bus drivers. Most of them have passenger bus attachments on their CDLs. Bill McChesney is saying this can happen, no problem. We need to elect people with mindsets like mine into office that understand how small businesses work, as opposed to people who have never served, who have never worked or run or managed or own a small business, that are literally just going into leadership positions and $500 million yearly budgets without having to manage a $500,000 budget. When you have a $500 million budget and you've never managed a $500,000 budget, you're not going to do it correctly. Vanessa Parkhill says this, the Queen of Earlysville, and if the county is paying private bus company, they do not have to pay benefits, including health care and retirement to the private company. Bingo. That's how they do it. They can pay more to the private company than they can actually pay their drivers because they are W-9. They are not employees of the system. They're subcontractors. All right. I got this question for the viewers and listeners. Does anyone find the timing curious that Maurice Jones has resigned? And I'll ask you that question, Judah. Do you find the timing curious that Maurice Jones has resigned as the city manager of Chapel Hill at the same time that we're looking for a city manager in Charlottesville City?
I mean, do you think he wants his old job back?
Maurice Jones is still a young man and not nearly close to retirement.
Yes, but that's not the question I asked.
He's got ties to Charlottesville. He knows the area inside and out. He's got institutional memory. He was a communications director. He was a city manager for 7.5 years in the city. It pays $250,000 plus a year, and he needs to find another job.
Well, he needs to find another job because he left his job, but I'm still curious as to why he would want this one back. Is there, I don't know much about city manager jobs. Is that the kind of thing where you can, I don't know, get stuck at a job too long and it looks bad on your resume? I don't know. I'm still curious as to why he would want his job back here after all the.
I have no.
I'm sure he's watched the headlines about Charlottesville in the news.
Yes, he has. He absolutely has. But I think Charlottesville City is much more stable than when it was when Nakia Walker was the mayor.
Certainly.
The city is way more stable now. And the dysfunction seems to be not nearly as bad.
Okay.
And he was the city manager at a time of tremendous dysfunction. City manager at the time of tremendous dysfunction. Nakia Walker, Mike Signer, right? August 12th. And I have no inside knowledge on this. I just find it curious that Maurice Jones resigns at Chapel Hill at the exact same time that Charlottesville City is actively pursuing a city manager hire. I find that curious. Just find that curious. And I'm being told, and this is something I'm being told that's happening, and this is not about the city manager job. I'm being told by people and I'm working to verify. This is scuttlebutt right now. This is purely scuttlebutt. This is scuttlebutt that Jefferson Vineyards sold to Monticello. Jefferson Vineyards has sold to Monticello. I'm looking into this storyline as we speak. That's a little bit of podcast insider fodder for you, the viewer and listener. More info on that. I want to talk basketball quickly. I have a 115 business brokerage deal down the street where I'm on the brink of closing a sale of another business. If you need your business sold, there's nobody that's doing it better right now than I Love CVille and what we're doing. We're reaching the most people, and we negotiate the deals and work with the attorneys better than anyone. And we're going to close another one today. UVA basketball lost to Houston. UVA did not shoot the ball well, and UVA allowed too many offensive rebounds for Houston. Still, Virginia basketball lost by only 8 points to a team in Houston that could win a national championship. Reese Beekman is clearly not 100%. Vanderplas off the bench played horrendously. We couldn't keep Houston off the offensive glass, and still we only lost by 8 points. While that loss was demoralizing, I see tremendous promise for this team. And I don't know if you saw this, I certainly did. Virginia just picked up a Georgetown point guard transfer. Dante Harris is committed to the Cavaliers. He has 3 years of eligibility remaining, as Jerry Ratcliffe reports, and will join UVA's team for the 2023-2024 season. As a freshman, he was named the most outstanding player of the Big East tournament. This guy is a stud. In the 2021-2022 season, the 6-foot point guard averaged 12 points a game and 32 minutes of action. He is your Kie Clark replacement. He's got a red shirt. But Tony Bennett picked up a midseason point guard transfer. And I encourage anyone that's watching this program to get out to the UVA women's basketball team and watch what is undoubtedly one of the best women's basketball teams in the nation. You want to see some badass basketball? UVA women's basketball. This team should be playing in front of a sold-out John Paul Jones Arena every day. They are dynamite. And then a last item that I want to relay to you is a macro item. Home builder sentiment has dropped for the 12th straight month. According to the National Association of Home Builders sentiment is at its lowest level since 2012. 62% of builders are using incentives to bolster sales, including providing mortgage rate buydowns, paying points for buyers, and offering price reductions. Home builder sentiment could be bottoming, though, if there is a silver lining. The National Association of Builders says this may be the bottom. These topics and more on the Tuesday edition of the I Love CVille Show as I sprint to a 1:30 closing of a business transaction here in Charlottesville City. For Judah Wickhauer, I'm Jerry Miller. So long.